There are too many mothers in America who woke up this morning knowing that Mother's Day phone call from their child was not coming because the epidemic of gun violence in our country robbed them of that opportunity, of that joy. For a particular group of moms in Buffalo, New York, today is the first time they felt that unique pain. 1 year ago today, a white teenager motivated by racism and hate opened fire at the Tops grocery store in Buffalo. 10 innocent people, all Black, were killed. Their ages ranged from 32 to 86. 3 others were injured. The shooter survived and was arrested, tried, and convicted. In February, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and he would later admit in court that he shot all those people because they were Black. Today, Buffalo's Mayor Byron Brown led a moment of remembrance for the victims, and just before 2:30 p.m., church bells chimed, marking the moment those shots were fired. For many, the pain is still extremely raw.
This is a racist crime. What have they done? What has been done to fix racism? Anybody? What is wrong with this country? Why we always have violence in this country like this? We act like this is the first day. And we say the same things all the time, every time.
I wish I could tell you that things have gotten better, but I want to be honest, they haven't. Since the shooting at Tops, there have been 667 mass shootings in America, according to the Gun Violence Archive. And the Gun Violence Archive keeps track of shootings of all kinds throughout the United States, and they define a mass shooting as a shooting where at least 4 people are hurt, not including the shooter. I've said before that every mass shooting is a tragedy, but it's also a choice to live like this. President Biden has repeatedly asked Congress to act on gun violence, and he did so again today in an op-ed in USA Today, where he writes, quote, "The majority of Americans, even the majority of gun owners, want Congress to take some common sense action to reduce gun violence. But too many congressional Republicans are doing the bidding of gun manufacturers instead of their constituents." Gun violence is the #1 killer of children in America. And until Congress acts and real action is taken, every mother in our country will live in constant fear that this year's Mother's Day phone call might be the last one she ever gets. I want to bring in a woman who knows that fear, unfortunately, all too well. Zenita Everhart, the mother of Zaire Goodman, a survivor of the Tops shooting. Zenita, thank you so much for being here today. You tweeted a Mother's Day message earlier about your son, Zaire. You said, quote, "Today I am proud to be your mom, kid, but more importantly, Zaire, today we celebrate your second chance at life." Oh my goodness, it was gut-wrenching when I read that. How is your son doing now, and what has life been like in the years since this horrific tragedy?
You know, Zaire, thank you, Simone, for having me. Zaire is doing well. You know, the last couple of days has been rough, obviously, coming up to the 1 year. But he's doing well physically, obviously. Mentally, he's still in therapy, and you know that will continue. You know, we don't know how long that will continue, but it will continue because making sure that he's okay mentally is a top priority for me. Right, as a mom, I just want to fix this. I just want to make it all go away, truthfully. But we're holding together. You know, we're strong. You know, our family is strong, and they've been beside us throughout all of this. Our friends, our community, the Buffalo community. Oh my goodness, the love and support that continues to pour out has just been amazing to me. But we're doing well. We're doing well.
Zenita, if I can I ask you to take us back to that day and the moment you got the phone call that your son was one of the victims of this shooting?
Yeah, that was a tough moment. I was out running some errands. Zaire had just, went to work probably a couple hours before. We both left the house around the same time. And it was a little after 2:00, and he called me. And, I answered the phone like I always do when he calls. I said, "Hey, kid, what's up?" And he was screaming. And if you've ever met my son, he doesn't scream or get loud. He's a big, soft teddy bear. And so I knew, like, my heart sank. I knew before he could even say anything. I knew something was wrong, and I just stopped what I was doing and I ran. And he said, Mom, get here now. I got shot. And I just dropped what I was doing and ran out the store and got in my car and started driving towards the grocery store. Because obviously I knew where he was. And, yeah.
There are some victims' family members from the Tops shooting that are now part of a lawsuit against several of the tech companies, including Facebook, the parent company of Meta, Google, even Reddit. And they are alleging that these companies' algorithms exposed the shooter to racist propaganda, and that propaganda motivated him to commit these murders. How big of a role do you think that this hate online, the racist radicalization of folks has played in this particular tragedy?
It plays a huge role, right? It gives them, this is where they learn these ideologies, right? And this is where it manifests. And not only that, this is where they're learning it, this is where it manifests, but this is how the message is getting out to other people, right? I remember 5/14 that day. People were tagging me and Zaire's dad in the video of Zaire being shot on social media. Like, I don't want to see, right? Like, yes.
No, I completely
I didn't want to see that.
No
and
one
they
should have
be
to
held
see
accountable.
That.
They should be held accountable. That's my kid. I don't want to see a video of him being shot down like a dog in the street. That is my baby. We have to go after these platforms because they play a role in all of this and how it is getting out to people. And that's a problem. That is a problem. And they should be held accountable. Absolutely.
Zanetta, I want to thank you for your time today. I know that you are someone that has not just, you've turned your pain and your family's pain into moving progress forward. You're actually action. You're running for office. So I just thank you for being an example for folks all across this country. Zanetta Everhart, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Simone. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Joining me now is the president and CEO of the NAACP, Derrick Johnson. Derrick, that was just such a gut-wrenching conversation I just had with Zanetta. And Zanetta is a member of a club that no mother in America wants to be a member of. And you meet with families like this all the time. And after the tragedy in Buffalo, you met with Attorney General Merrick Garland. And you talked specifically about the spread of white supremacy online, hate crimes in Black communities. NAACP continues to meet with government officials at every level. Do you feel a sense of progress on this issue right now?
It feels like we're suspended in air. I mean, the executive offices have done all they can within their authority. Social media platforms, they truly have a responsibility not to spread hate. And if you look at what took place in Buffalo or in Wisconsin or in El Paso, and I go on, much of this can be found on social media where racial hate groups really promote racial hate, identify individuals, radicalize them, and they carry out these acts. And so we feel like we're suspended in time. We've had more mass shootings since the beginning of this year than we've ever seen. And this is unfortunate and something must get done.
More mass shootings than days of the year thus far. So, Derrick, obviously, that's what's happening online, and we often talk about how the rhetoric online is then parroted in communities across the country, but there's also a role I think elected officials play here. And I want to play some recent comments from Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama. My colleague Julie Sirkin asked the senator for clarification after he criticized efforts to weed out white nationalists from the military, saying that they were simply Americans to him. Here's their conversation.
Sir, if there are folks with white nationalist beliefs, of which there are in this country, unfortunately, do you believe they should be serving in the military?
We got to define that first. What is a white nationalist?
Someone who propagates Nazism, someone who doesn't believe that black and brown people are equal as white people.
You think a white nationalist is a Nazi?
Well, that is one of their beliefs.
Well, I don't look at it like that.
How do you look at it?
I look at a white nationalist as a Trump Republican. That's what we're called all the time, a mega person. That's what I'm just.
Do you agree with that assumption?
I agree that we should not be characterizing Trump supporters as white nationalists.
Derek, this is dangerous because these members of Congress are normalizing defending white nationalist ideology when that has gotten people killed. It's what got the folks in Buffalo killed. It's what killed people in a church in Charleston. It's what killed folks in El Paso. Like, do I need to go on?
You know, it's ironic coming from him of all people. His whole career is built on the backs of black football players. No one would even know his name if it wasn't for black football players. Secondly, it feels like 1950, where segregationists was trying to defend their position, which was no less than treasonous, but more importantly, un-American. And then thirdly, this is where we have devolved to in terms of the public discourse, where individuals are justifying not only racial hatred, but causing individuals like the shooter in Buffalo to carry out these acts. At some point, the political discourse must turn. Public policy makers must do their job and protect citizens, all citizens.
Well, you have a statement out today, and you say in that statement, quote, "Blood is on the hands of every member of Congress who refuses to deliver common sense gun reform." We know what the makeup of Congress is right now. We know the conversations. They don't seem likely to act on gun safety reform anytime soon. So what can people do within their communities to affect change and protect their neighbors?
Well, first of all, this upcoming week is Cops Week, and I have yet to understand why law enforcement officers have not taken this up as a serious policy agenda. We need sensible gun control. We need individuals who are in law enforcement to recognize that the threat on the African-American community because of gun violence and other communities is also a threat to them as law enforcement officers, and this should be a top priority. Secondly, voters need to continue to pay attention. 2024 election is going to be key. 2023 election in Louisiana, Louisiana, Kentucky, and Mississippi is important. Policymakers must do their jobs, but voters must change the policymakers when they don't do the job.
Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you, my friend, for your time.
Thank you.